I was just gonna end it there and then make a new one, but nah, I'll go through it. I was commenting on a video, and when I was, it just concept occurred to me. While the modern woman became more independent than women of the past, the modern man became more lazy than the men of the past. When like I could think of, which I mean, it's different times. So didn't you like there's World War II where most of the men go off to fight in the war, and then you have women who are nurses. But the idea that when the men went to fight in the war, women would then do the jobs that the men were doing, and because of that, well, then that gives an independence thing. Like where things would stem from. So, and then I don't know, like maybe after that, then men go back into jobs, but still, um, it's something about it, saying excuse me or something, but not doing it. The modern man yeah, the modern woman became more independent, more career oriented, and then because of that, waiting until 30s or something, late 20s, anyways, late 20s, mid 30s, something like maybe 27, 35 range, something like that, for children. And I mean, women are designed to make children. I mean, just that they're inherent. It's in them to make children. It's a big deal to make children for a woman, and younger women don't realize that when they're career oriented, which ultimately they're career oriented because they want to be able to provide for the child because of a lack of good guys, a lack of guys that would meet their standards, and then instead of finding a guy who, yeah, there's that. Okay, men got lazy. I mean, the biblical way of it, the man leads the household. When you have men going off to nudie bars and stuff like that and abusing their spouses, whether by not being there or by other means, well, then women become more independent because the man's not there to provide for the woman, and then the woman's not there to provide for the child because the woman is concerned about the man, and the man's supposed to be concerned about the woman, then the woman concerned about the child. The system of that, because everybody has a responsibility. The man's responsibility is the wife first, their spouse first, and then the children, yes, but the spouse first, the woman. And the woman's first responsibility is the children, because the man's supposed to be covering the other end of it. So the woman is focusing on the internal while the man is focusing on the external. And that's how it's supposed to work. But then you have men who are not performing to the standard that they should be, and well, they're being neglectful. They're being neglectful to the woman, and yeah, it's that men being neglectful, and then when men are neglectful to the woman, then the women want to be more. They want to be more independent because where are the men at? Because if the men aren't doing anything, then the woman's got to do something, and then that gets ingrained into a younger generation of women, and then they think that's just how it is. Of okay, the men aren't going to do anything. We've got to do it ourselves. And sometimes that's the case, because if it's this if the statement that all women are after 10% of the guys, yeah, that's a problem. If it's not, I mean, for it to not at least be 20% of guys who are physically capable, emotionally capable, everything that is masculine. I mean, like there's a warped thing about masculinity about, I mean, true masculinity is not hiding your feelings. That's not masculinity. There's a certain indifference in masculinity, sure, but it's not neglectful. To be masculine is not to be neglectful. It's not to be stupid. And when you have people drilling into your mind, you cannot show emotion because that's weakness. No, that's not it. Anger is emotion. You show that. And I mean, because that's the irony of it. So the certain generations before making it toward your generations younger, it's okay to cuss. It's okay because, I mean, it's okay to show anger. It's not okay to be sad. That's mixed up. Because anger is usually going to be stemming from immaturity, not from godly wrath or something like that. It's usually just being immature. So when it's acceptable to be angry, acceptable to utter all sorts of perverse things because of anger, but it's not acceptable for a man to cry, that's not right. It's warped masculinity. I mean, if a man can't even have tears, story for that, but that's just what I'm uttering. Yeah, tears of joy. One of the qualities, tears are not a bad thing. Tears are a bad thing when you're fighting somebody because now you got to fight blind, or you got to fight partially blind, and that's not good. And I'm not saying you shouldn't get upset and start whining, but you also shouldn't get upset and start hitting things. The idea that it's okay to get upset and hit things, but it's not okay to get upset and cry, that's warped masculinity. Everybody has anger, sorrow, or sadness, and joy or happiness. And they have to express all three. If the man cannot express sorrow, then it's going to come out in anger. It's going to come out in resentment. It's going to come out in things that are not masculine. And I mean, because masculinity is on this end and femininity is on this end, it's to say the woman is also supposed to be mature. Being masculine is not being immature. Masculine is the ideal male, the ideal man. And then feminine is the ideal female, the ideal woman. That means if someone's cussing you to your face, you shouldn't be like, them. That's not protecting anybody. That's just being stupid. Someone hits you, okay. It's not about being angry at them. It's just about, obviously, you don't let people hit you. But not so obviously, you don't start cussing somebody because they're cussing you. You don't be stupid because somebody's being stupid. That's like someone goes and drives a nail into their hand. Oh, I can do it better! Really? You want to be known for that? Because, I mean, that's what it is. They're building their own coffin and you're going to start building yours too? Are you that stupid? Are you that foolish that you think, oh, anger is acceptable because it shows strength? No, it shows immaturity. I mean, that's like you have, it's either gorillas or apes. I mean, there's monkeys or gorillas, something like that. Either way, one of them. I believe it's the ones who've had the tails. Gorillas, yeah, gorillas. Okay. You have the strongest gorilla, and then you have the older gorilla that's got the wisdom, and then the young gorilla that's got the leadership quality. The strongest gorilla is going to be overtaken by a team. But the strongest, I mean, it may be, that's like, okay, you may be angry enough to take on one man, but you're really going to take on 50? Maturity is going to keep you from having to take on 50. And I mean, there's a time where maybe you have to take on 50, but I mean, to stand by your values. But you shouldn't be taking on 50s because of, and I mean, 50 people, 50 gorillas. You shouldn't be taking on, well, it's the picking your battles thing. Are you really going to get angry about petty stuff? Are you really going to repress your sorrow to the point to where you don't function properly? That's the thing. Okay. How can a man understand a woman's emotions, her sadness, if the man isn't allowed to express his sadness? I mean, the reason that a lot of men are emotionally stupid is because they're not allowed to express their emotions. That's been ingrained in them that, oh, that's not masculine. Well, no. It is masculine because you take care of yourself. To be truly feminine or truly masculine, you take care of yourself. To be truly masculine, you take care of yourself and you take care of your family. Feminine, same thing. You take care of yourself, you take care of your family, just different roles. What's that about? What's with the again. Lead me, Lord. Give me something good to say. Thank you. God is for the nuclear family. The husband, the wife, then the children. He's for that. Maybe some pets, if you so choose. And in the nuclear family, you had the masculine role model and the feminine role model. And if you have two masculines and no feminine, that's a problem. If you have two feminine and no masculine, that's a problem. And another thing, if you have the masculine and the feminine, and there's this thing that the child brings to the table, the joy, the innocence, something like that. They bring something that is, what was that? The humility. The child brings the humility. Because if you cannot be humble as this child is, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. If you cannot be humble like a child, then you cannot enter therein. Do better. Do better. That's the thing. When men are putting in the effort for things that are worth it, yeah. That's why a man should not pursue a broken woman. She's got to repair herself. You can't do that. A woman should not be pursuing a broken man. He's got to fix himself. You can't do that. We're not. It's not that we complete each other. It's that, or I mean, maybe match like a king and a queen. That completion, but two whole people come together. Not two 50% people. Two whole people. And when they come together, they're a very strong unit. When that happens, when it's 250% people, just aggression, questionable emotions, pettiness. You want to be in a relationship with someone who's mature enough to handle one, and you be mature enough to handle one. But if you're not mature enough to handle a relationship, you shouldn't be in one. If you're not mature enough to handle a specific occupation, you shouldn't be in it. I mean, that's like a forklift driver is someone who should have the clarity not to be running over people, not to be injuring anybody. And similarly, in a relationship with somebody, you need a level of clarity like that, where you're not going to be running over your spouse every time something goes wrong, male or female. You shouldn't. They're not meant to bear your problems. They're meant to help you. Your problems go to Jesus. He'll deal with the bulk, and then your spouse, bring joy to them. And there's that thing. Yeah, it's okay to cry in front of your spouse. Be able to cry in front of you. It doesn't. And if you're both repressed emotionally, that's not going to do any good for the child. Yeah, emotion isn't evil. It's not evil to be sad. It's not evil to be angry. It's not obviously not evil to be happy. Although there are times where you shouldn't be happy. There are times where you shouldn't be sad. There are times where you shouldn't be angry. They all serve a purpose. They all serve a function. And if the function is perverted, that's a problem. Yeah, that. I speak these words as a representative of the Most High God. And whatever question I have in what I'm saying now, I'm thankful that I can see the fruit in it. Because if I didn't see the fruit, yeah, that's the point. The effort. That's what I'm saying. The effort. I'm talking about the fruit. I'm putting forth the effort of even making this video because I can see the fruit. And it's the same thing with a relationship. You have to see the fruit. I'm saying okay, I can see the camera. That's one scene. There's another scene. You close your eyes. Red horse. I saw a red horse. I saw a red horse in here. In that way. I can see the fruit like that. Even if I can't see the fruit like that. And when your faith is with God, good. Because then you can get something from the fruit. But when your faith is in the world, you're going to end up in trouble. Because the world doesn't have what God has. The world doesn't have blessings. It just has curses. What was I saying? Because I was going on that. And yeah. You're going to put forth the effort for a relationship when you see the fruit. When you believe the fruit is there. If you don't believe that someone's worth it, then you're not going to care enough to put forth the effort. And when beauty is being viewed as the highest calculation, then it'll pervert everything else.